Devaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Today we will be discussing Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 4, text 16. Kim karma kim akarmeti kavayopi atra mohitaha tatte karma pravakshyami yagnatva mokshasya ashubhat. So, the previous verse recommended that Purvaihi Purvataram Krutam. One has to act, our action has to be executed in accordance with the examples of previous bona fide devotees. Mumukshubihi Purvairapi Mumukshubihi Purvaihi Purvataram Krutam. So, action in Krishna consciousness has to be executed in accord with the examples of previous bona fide devotees. And why such action should not be independently done is explained in this verse and in the next few verses. So, because if we do actions independently, we will not be able to figure out kim karma, kim akarmeti. So, what is this? What Krishna is saying here? Kim karma, what is karma? What is right action? What is akarma? What is inaction? Kavayopi atra mohitaha. Kavayopi atra mohitaha means even one is very intelligent. You may say, I am a kavi, or kavi means poet, but kavayaha means an intelligent person as well. A very intelligent person, even he is bewildered, atra mohitaha, in determining what is karma, what is akarma. Therefore, Krishna says, Tatte karma pravakshyami, I will tell you what is right action. Yagnatva, knowing which, mokshyase ashubhat, you will be liberated from all inauspiciousness. Because if we do activity even with our intelligence, kavayaha, and if it ends up being wrong activity, because we are always bewildered, it can produce wrong reaction, ashubha. But if you can know what is right action, what is wrong action, it can free us from ashubha. Mokshyase ashubhat. In Mahabharata, when the battle ended, the Kurukshetra war ended, crores of people got killed. And Yudhishthira, he felt very sad at the end of the battle. He felt culpable for all this massacre that happened. He felt that it was because of him that such a huge massacre was done, biggest ever in the history of mankind. And there was a very heated conversation between him and Bhima became furious. And he says, if you wanted to, Yudhishthira says that I want to give up this kingdom and go to forest. Because he felt culpable for that killing. And Bhima says in fury, if you wanted to do that, then why did you even fight? And then Yudhishthira continues to argue and he doesn't budge. So, like that, different people try to convince him, but he wouldn't listen. And finally, Krishna had to take him to Bhishma, who was lying on the bed of arrows, to make him hear what Bhishma has to say, because Bhishma is one of the Mahajanas. And then Bhishma Dev says, tells him so many things, gives him so much of knowledge how to rule. And along with that, he says, firstly, you didn't do anything wrong by fighting, because you fought with the order of Krishna. And first he actually starts responding by saying that the intricacies of dharma are very difficult to comprehend. So, but what you did is sanctioned by Krishna. Even what I did is also sanctioned by Krishna. Even I did my part of being his enemy. So as long as we follow Lord's plan, we are all right. Otherwise, we'll be bound. You see how even great personalities, they face this dharma sankat. What to do, what not to do. Kim karma, kim akarmeti. Sometimes staying inactive, not acting on something, is also akin to acting. Like, for example, your child is doing something wrong and then you are not acting. That is also because you feel they'll feel bad if I act. And that is also acting, because by your inaction you are supporting your child. So therefore you are as responsible in that action as the child is responsible. You are responsible. If you are a leader, if you are a responsible person, it can be your child, or you are a minister, or you are a president, or you are whatever in your organization, in a family. If your subjects do anything wrong and if you don't act on it, that is as good as you're doing the same as your subjects. When the Kumaras went to Vaikuntha, they were stopped at the entrance by this Jaya and Vijaya. Why? Because these Kumaras look like small children. And they said, no, there is no entrance for you. And then the Kumaras become upset and they curse these Jaya and Vijaya that you don't know how to detect who is a pure personality and who is not. Therefore, you are not fit to be in Vaikuntha, so you fall down to the material world. And then they become so upset. And then the Lord himself comes from inside Vaikuntha, Lord Vishnu. And he apologizes. Even Kumaras feel bad for having cursed them out of anger. But it is all orchestrated by the Lord for a higher purpose. The Lord wanted to go to this material world and exercise his affinity for fighting, because in Vaikuntha nobody fights with him. But who will fight? He will fight with his devotees only. The Lord exchanges his rasa with his devotees. But if they remain as devotees, they will not fight with him. So he made a plan where they become his enemies only for time being. Of course, they chose to come back to Vaikuntha in 3 lifetimes as enemies of the Lord. Then the Lord says something very interesting. He says, I consider that these action of Jaya and Vijaya are as good as my actions. Therefore, I am responsible for their bad action. I am taking responsibility. I am apologizing on their behalf. So like that, one may think, oh, I don't have anything. I'm silent. No, you can never be silent. Whatever action you are supporting or your subjects do, it is as good as you are doing. So when one says, oh, inaction does not produce a reaction, they are incorrect. Inaction does produce a reaction. So that is why it is said, Kim karma, kim akarmeti, kavayopi atra mohitaha. What is right action? What is wrong actions? Kavayopi atra mohitaha. Even the great learned men, they become bewildered. So Prabhupada says, therefore one has to follow in the footsteps of previous authorities in the line of disciplic succession. Otherwise, even the most intelligent men will be bewildered regarding the standard actions of Krishna consciousness. One time, one disciple of Prabhupada, he wanted to start a rock band and wanted to preach through influential songs like the Beatles. You know, those days the Beatles were very famous, the world famous. So he wanted to become like that. In his own way, he was thinking, let me start this rock band, let me make it big, let me preach in a bigger way. He was dreaming like that. And then Srila Prabhupada wrote back to him plainly, he said that he will never be able to successfully, or he will never be successful in accomplishing what he was envisaging, and he should not waste time and rather do what is prescribed as his duty, which is Harinam Sankirtana, distributing literature, and other preaching activities assigned by the temple president. So, because we cannot foresee what is right action, what is wrong action, what will lead to what. That is why in our temple as well, or in all the temples, if they are following the right process, especially in Prabhupada temples, we carefully discuss whether any action we are doing is in line, following in the footsteps of previous authorities. So many people come with many requests. Can we celebrate this event? Can we use the temple hall for this, for singing this, for blood donation camp, for parents worship day, you name it. Different people have different kinds of interests, and we carefully analyze and we stick to the direction given by the spiritual master. Sometimes people think our movement is quite different from regular spiritual movements or regular temples. Even we have so many regulations, so many conditions. Srila Prabhupada, he was so careful, our acharyas are so careful, that even the mantras we chant and sing has to be authorized. The devotees, when they went to Vrindavan in the initial days, when Prabhupada went to Vrindavan, along with him they went, and they picked up some mantras that they were chanting in Vrindavan in the temples locally. So one devotee came back to the Vrindavan temple, our temple, and he started to sing Nitai Gaura Radhe Shyam Hare Krishna Hare Ram, like that. So they modified the mantra, and Srila Prabhupada got to know and became very angry. And he asked where he learned, and they said, oh, this temple they were singing like this. So Prabhupada severely chastised the devotee, corrected it, and he said that we cannot modify the Maha Mantra. You cannot make up any mantra you want and sing. Of course, we can say it is all the names of God. Nitai, Gaura, Radha, Krishna, Radha Shyam, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. These are all names of God, you can say. No. Yes, as names of God, it may give you benefit. But the effect that the Maha Mantra is supposed to bring, it will not bring you that. More than the name of God, it is your fidelity to your authority, to your acharya, that pleases the Lord. Of course, the Maha Mantra is very powerful, but it has to be taken just like the medicine is very powerful, but you have to take the right medicine prescribed by the doctor. You cannot go to the store and say, oh, okay, give me this, give me that, because you cannot cure yourself. It has to be prescribed. So Prabhupada was very, very careful. We should sing, Prabhupada said we should sing, chant, and read songs written by our authorized acharyas. Because if you sing a song written by a layman, now YouTube has become so popular, and in the name of devotional songs, so many songs come, not necessarily authored by pure devotees. Because if you sing something which carry a very different meaning than the standard understanding, then it can lead you on a wrong path. Very difficult. It's very intricate. This act, what is right action, what is wrong action. So Prabhupada, one time he was very sick. He wanted to go to India for recuperating in the initial days when he came. When he started the movement, the disciples were, he was gathering disciples. But in 1967, he became very ill. And so he planned to go to India. He did go to India, but so the disciples were confused because they were constantly getting guidance from Srila Prabhupada up to that point. And they said, oh, if you go to India, can we take guidance from this personality, one of Prabhupada's god brothers, in his absence? And then Prabhupada, he had tears in his eyes, and he said, you know, my spiritual master is so great, he saved me, he saved my life. It carried a very, very poignant meaning. What Prabhupada said was, by saving him, he saved his disciples from getting a wrong association. Because if anybody says anything different than what Prabhupada had been teaching, even slightly different, it can cause so much of confusion, philosophical confusion, clarity in the path of Krishna consciousness. So even if one thing different is said, it can be practiced and it can cause a whole lot of disturbance. That is why we are very careful to accept the bona fide Acharya Srila Prabhupada, the safe and secure method. We don't accept anybody who is not authorized to be the Guru. Our Guru, our Acharya is Srila Prabhupada. He is the authorized Acharya. And we read the original books. It's safe and secure to follow the path that has been authorized. So without gaining parampara knowledge, we'll be bewildered regarding standard actions of Krishna consciousness. Sometimes Krishna is questioned. Many times people, they don't understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. What is dharma is nothing but the path created or spoken, the word spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's not you can make dharma, I can make dharma. No, only God can make dharma. So sometimes people, they mistake Krishna's actions in Mahabharata. When Krishna asked Yudhishthira to lie in order to lie about the death of Ashwadhama, oh, why he's asking him to lie? Even Yudhishthira didn't want to lie. He hesitated because he's known as Dharmaraj. He never spoke a lie. But it is Krishna who is ordering. It's like a military commander ordering, oh, go and kill that person. He's a threat to national security. No, you have to go do it. No, the person is facing his back towards me. Can I kill him? No, shoot him right now. If you don't shoot, you become a transgressor of the law. You become culpable to be punished. Because the commander knows what is right and what is wrong more than you. So, what to speak of the Supreme Lord, who is the ultimate judge, who is the ultimate authority, who knows what is right judgment, what is right action, what is wrong action. So, it is said that because of that hesitation, Yudhishthira had to visit hell, had to see hell after, not for punishment, of course. He is, after all, a pure devotee, but just to show how even transgressing Krishna's order, even if it appears to be different than the standard understanding, Vedic understanding, standard cultural understanding, but if it is coming from the Lord Himself, that has to be accepted as the right path. So, like that, sometimes people mistake even Nityananda, because Nityananda is, of course, I'm not talking about the modern Nityananda, I'm not talking about anybody bogus. I'm talking about Nityananda, who is the incarnation of Balaram, who came 500 years ago along with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that Nityananda, he was an Avadhuta. Avadhuta means he is beyond any social norms or rules and regulations because he was transcendental, he was Paramahamsa, liberated. And then he was so transcendental that it is said, Madira Javani Jadi Nityananda Dhare Tadhapi Brahmara Vandya Kahila Tomare. It is said that Nityananda Prabhu can do anything and everything. Even if you see Nityananda Prabhu mixing with very bad society, if you see him intoxicated with something that he is drinking, even if Brahma sees him in that position, he will pay full Dandavat Pranams with his foreheads at the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu, because Nityananda Prabhu has inconceivable divine character. He is the protector of the society of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he is completely pure and transcendental. Nothing can affect him. Just like the sun, the sunshine is so powerful, it can absorb the filth from the most filthiest of places and can purify it. But the sun is never contaminated. So, sometimes these great personalities may appear to do something questionable, but only they can do it, and for a reason that we may not be able to comprehend. But our duty is not to imitate them, but to follow the path prescribed by them. We cannot imitate the actions of Nityananda Prabhu. We cannot imitate the actions of Krishna. We cannot imitate the actions of Lord Shiva in terms of drinking the poison. But we should follow the orders. We should follow the path prescribed by them. So then we will be secure. Vaishnavera Kriya Mudra Vignehana Bujaya. Because a great Vaishnava's activities we cannot seemingly comprehend. There is a higher purpose. And then Prabhupada says in the purport that it is said that one cannot ascertain the ways of religion simply by imperfect experimental knowledge. Actually, the principles of religion can only be laid down by the Lord Himself. Dharmam hi sakshat bhagavat pranitam. No one can manufacture a religious principle by imperfect speculation. One must follow in the footsteps of great authorities like Brahma, Shiva, Narada, Manu, Kumara, Kapila, Prahlada, Bhishma, Shukadeva Goswami, Yamaraja, Janaka, etc. So, by out of causeless mercy to his devotees, the Lord explains to Arjuna directly what action is and what inaction is. Only action performed in Krishna consciousness can deliver a person from the entanglement of material existence. So, it's very carefully, should be very carefully done. Sadharma prucha. So, therefore, one has to inquire from a bona fide spiritual master, not do a Google search about what is right action in terms of our spirituality. For material actions, yes, you can do all of that. But if you want to lead a life free of sinful reactions, lead a Krishna conscious life, you have to accept a bona fide spiritual master. There is no escaping. Gurum eva abhigachet. One has to go to a guru, submit and surrender and serve. If you want a good spiritual life, there is no escaping that. Submit yourself to the regulation of a spiritual master. Yes, it is austerity. We are used to leading a life of independence. No rules and regulations. Do whatever your mind wants. You don't want to submit to an authority. But without knowing, we are submitting already to Maya's authority. Maya is pulling us by the ear. The senses are pulling us. You do this and we are helplessly doing. You eat this. The tongue is saying you eat this, you're eating. The eyes are saying you watch this, you're watching. That mouth is saying you speak like this, your tongue is speaking. Your mouth is speaking. But it is causing all kinds of bad reactions. But if you want to stop this cycle and act and have a good result, then you have to submit to a bona fide spiritual master. Sadhu marganugamanam, sadharma prucha, sadhu marganugamanam. Then you have to understand what is right action, what is wrong action. Mahajano yena gatassa pantha. So secure to follow a bona fide spiritual master. So that is why we urge, take initiation, come to that platform, then your life becomes successful. Even if you not come to that platform, at least start chanting so that Krishna can guide you from within. If you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna will inspire you. He will guide you from within how to perfect yourself even further. And then when you come to the right standard, then you can get the opportunity to be initiated and you be guided by the bona fide spiritual master and make your life successful. Let's stop here. Anyone has any questions or comments? Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.